Children who grew up in the 1980s experienced a unique environment that sat between two very different worlds. They were not fully shaped by the slow, analog lifestyle of earlier decades, and they were not yet influenced by the constant digital stimulation of today. This position in between created a distinct way of thinking, shaped by both independence and early exposure to media. The environment that shaped them, freedom plus media. Childhood during the 1980s still included a high level of independence. Many children spent large parts of their day outside, playing with friends, riding bikes, or exploring their surroundings with minimal supervision. This freedom allowed them to make decisions on their own and learn through experience, much like children from the previous decade. At the same time, a noticeable shift was beginning to take place. Television became a stronger presence in everyday life, with popular shows and cartoons creating shared cultural experiences. Entertainment was still limited compared to modern standards, but it was more influential than it had been in earlier years. Children began to engage not only with the physical world around them, but also with stories, characters, and ideas presented through media. Early technology and structure. The 1980s also introduced early forms of interactive technology. Arcades and home video game systems became part of childhood for many, adding a new layer of engagement that was different from traditional play. These experiences introduced structured challenges, scoring systems, and a sense of competition that influenced how children approached tasks and goals. At the same time, daily life often included a mix of structure and freedom. School and organised activities provided routine, while unstructured time allowed for creativity and exploration. This balance between scheduled responsibilities and open play created an environment where children learned to move between discipline and independence. Growing up in a world that combined freedom, early media influence, and emerging technology shaped a unique set of psychological traits that defined how many children of the 1980s thought, interacted, and approached challenges. Trait 1. Balanced independence. Children growing up in the 1980s often developed a form of independence that was shaped by both freedom and structure. Like the previous generation, many spent time outside without constant supervision, which encouraged decision-making and self-reliance. At the same time, school routines and organised activities introduced a level of structure that required responsibility and discipline. This combination created a balanced form of independence. Children learned how to manage themselves in unstructured environments, while also adapting to expectations and routines. As a result, many developed the ability to navigate both freedom and responsibility with greater ease. Trait 2. Imagination. Influenced by media. Imagination remained an important part of childhood, but it began to be influenced by media in new ways. Television shows, cartoons, and movies introduced characters, stories, and ideas that children would often carry into their play. Instead of creating entirely original scenarios, many children blended their own creativity with the narratives they consumed. This created a different type of imagination. It was still active and expressive, but it was increasingly shaped by external influences. Children were not only creating their own worlds, but also interacting with ideas presented through media, which expanded their sense of storytelling and play. Trait 3. Competitiveness. The introduction of video games and arcade culture played a significant role in shaping competitiveness. Games often involve scoring systems, levels, and clear indicators of success or failure. This structure encouraged children to improve performance, beat high scores, and compete with others. This exposure introduced a more measurable sense of achievement. Success became something that could be tracked and compared. Over time, this contributed to a mindset that valued progress, improvement, and competition in a more visible way than previous generations had experienced. These traits form the foundation of how many children from the 1980s approached challenges and interactions. Trait 4. Social adaptability. Children of the 1980s developed social skills in an environment that combined direct interaction with shared media experiences. Most friendships were built face-to-face, through time spent outside, at school, or in local communities. At the same time, television shows and popular culture created common points of reference that influenced how children connected with one another. This combination encouraged adaptability in social situations. Children learned to communicate directly read social cues, and handle interactions without digital mediation. At the same time, shared media experiences helped them relate to others through common interests. As a result, many developed a flexible approach to social interaction that balanced real-world communication with cultural awareness. Trait 5. Shifting attention span. The 1980s also marked the beginning of a gradual shift in attention patterns. While children were not exposed to constant digital stimulation, entertainment began to move at a faster pace compared to earlier decades. Television programming, commercials, and video games introduced more rapid changes in visuals and interaction. This did not eliminate the ability to focus, but it introduced variety in how attention was used. Children could still engage in longer activities such as outdoor play or reading, but they also became more accustomed to shorter bursts of stimulation. This created a more flexible attention style, where focus could shift between sustained engagement and quicker forms of entertainment. A generation shaped by transition. Environment shapes thinking. The psychological traits seen in many children of the 1980s were shaped by a unique balance of influences. They experienced independence similar to earlier generations, while also adapting to increasing exposure to media and early technology. This combination created a mindset that was both self-reliant and responsive to changing environments. Rather than being defined by a single set of conditions, this generation learned to navigate between different influences. They were comfortable with both structured and unstructured environments, direct interaction, and shared media culture, as well as steady focus and shifting attention. The psychology of kids from the 1980s reflects the environment they grew up in. They developed balanced independence shaped by both freedom and structure. Their imagination was influenced by media while remaining creative. Competitive thinking emerged through early gaming and measurable achievement. Social adaptability grew through face-to-face interaction, combined with shared cultural experiences. And their attention patterns began to shift as entertainment became faster and more engaging. Each of these traits reflects how the environment of the time shaped behavior and mindset. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for the latest videos.